Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and we're going to dive straight into this. I'm going to go over, I took some screenshots and some video clips of basically the highlights of the developer live stream from yesterday. I saw some bits and pieces of it, and then I actually sat down and sifted through it so I can get some highlights to basically talk about for you guys. I look like shit, so, I just woke up literally 30 minutes ago, and I want to crank this video out very quickly for you guys, and I'm not going to be able to get it out even within the next probably 2 days if I worry about any kind of editing or how it looks or anything. So forgive me on that. There's going to be noise upstairs. All my kiddos are awake, and my fiance is watching my my sister's child as well. So it's going to be very noisy, but bear with me. We're going to just hop straight into this. So obviously we've got the Web of the Empress event coming. So the event basically is going to run from the 24th, which is literally tomorrow, and through December 10th. So it's a little bit shorter than the last event, thank God. The final chapter of the Tarot event trilogy, which, I mean, I feel like we just got, just heard of the tarot cards. I don't know how's the final chapter. I don't pay attention to much of the lore. So if you're a big lore guy, let me know if they've been talking about it with the last couple of events. The well, I guess they were kind of in the trailers and stuff with the, was it the Fool and all that. But yeah, obviously we're going to get a battle pass with a bunch of rewards, new AI, tarot cards, location, Scarce Weapons, more. And then they said more activities coming during the event. Stay tuned. I personally, I, 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 I don't like when they say that there's going to be more activities, because the activities like they did during the full event was just, hey, just like pick this certain skin and we're gonna keep track of it, and if it's picked more than this other skin, we'll give you a discount on something. It doesn't feel like much of an actual activity to me, but I don't know, like I could care less about something like that in particular. And obviously it's coming with a whole, update 2.5 is what's coming with this event. Now there's a lot of stuff to unpack with this event that we're obviously gonna get through. And the Empress looks sick right here. So here's a close-up of the new hunter, or at least basically the main character of this new event, and some other characters. So obviously, I can't remember. I mean, he's obviously been hung before, and this chick's been struck by lightning. They didn't really give any details on this guy. I don't know exactly. I don't think we have the name of the skins. We probably do, but yeah. Either way, I'm most excited. This fits obviously the Halloween aesthetic a lot, and this chick, I mean, is cool, but she's kind of a. If you're more into just the classic kind of Western style skins, you'll probably like her quite a bit. I like some of the crazier skins. And then we have obviously a new AI, which I talked about before in my last video. We have bioweavers. New spider-like monsters that hatch from egg sacs, obviously, can overwhelm in numbers, and they protect their territory and their nests. Now, I thought it was kind of funny because during the live stream, they were like, they're not spiders, they're spider-like, which they're spiders. I don't know why. It was just like a small detail that I just noticed. I was like, it's okay to call them spiders, but either way, bioweavers. We do have a little video. Well, what the heck? There we go. Like I said, this is going to be overall just a pretty, bear with me on the quality of the video. I know you're going to see the border down here and everything. But we can obviously see them around the map. We saw the eggs. The eggs are like pulsing and stuff, but it looks super cool. This is obviously in the new location that they're talking about. That's going to be similar to the Fool's Hideout, or like the Murder Circus if you played that. So it's the nest. And I think the reason why they're, at first I was confused why they were calling it a 17th compound, but I think they're just calling it a 17th compound because it's so much bigger than all the other kind of temporary locations they've made before. They said it's going to be a lot bigger, almost maze-like. There's going to be like multiple levels. And it looks just sick as fuck, to just, be quite frank. This, I mean, the design of the eggs look dope. Bioweavers themselves look cool. It's kind of freaky how they like jump at you. They even I think they kind of like open up when they jump at you, which kind of gives, you know, what was those, like the face hugger vibes from Alien vs Predator. So, alrighty, moving on from that. So with the nest, obviously, you know, it's going to be covered in webs. Central nest, it'll spawn randomly on the different maps, and then you can get the traits, restoration kit, you know, ammo. The Destiny dial is basically just, with the full event, it wasn't really like a machine or anything, but it was just like a trait that was sealed that you could just get a random trait from. And then obviously, if you play the Murder Circus event, we had the fortune teller machine. They gave you a random trait. It's all the Destiny dial is. And then we get Scarce Weapons, or we can find Scarce Weapons there. So that'll be, maybe it'll be in this next slide. Let me see. No, it's not. But the Scarce Weapons are going to be, I can't remember what they're called, like the Wildland, which is a Centennial, and then the something 78, which is basically going to be a mega big Caldwell 78. So the event progression and rewards, you know, the pledge mark system staying around, 17th compound, 40 rewards, which I'm kind of disappointed they won't do anything bigger, but maybe it's just, I don't know, that hard for them to make that many skins and rewards. Yeah, or they're just worried about if they did more rewards, they would have to do like a super long event. Oh, and the big thing is they're not gonna, like, so any pledge marks you get or traits and Scarce Weapons, they're not gonna go away after events. So if they're on like your hunter, they're going to stay on your hunter until the next event. My only problem with this is I think they have good intentions, but the idea of events and battle passes that you have to like grind and there's like some urgency. If I already have like some special weapons, or especially mainly just the pledge marks to be able to get, I don't know, just stuff, like, it's just going to make people that play the game significantly more than people that, I would say, you know, like veterans versus casual players, if we want to put it that way. Like, I'm going to have so many hunters stacked with pledge marks where I'm just not even going to have to try to grind the next event in regards to having to get special perks or anything like that. Like, I can just go get all the special perks, go get the special perks, or what is it, like the weapons and stuff like that, just right away and just start using it, even if they're like super good and OP to a degree. Obviously, it doesn't take long to do something like that, but oh. So the Destiny dial, a machine that gives randomized rewards in exchange for pledge marks like fortune teller, you know, traits, restoration kit, ammo resupply. It'll give you all kinds of random stuff. I feel like there's might be another video real quick. None of this is organized, so again, bear with me. Let's play this one. So this is overall just the nest. There's a video clip of the nest. So we obviously see webs everywhere. It looks huge. There's entry points from like the top of the roofs. You can obviously just walk in from the ground level. More egg sacs. Yeah, it almost looks like there's like a tunnel system that you would obviously kind of imagine there would be in a spider nest. There's the dial machine there. Or the Destiny dial. I love the animation on that, by the way, with like all the different little wheels and I don't know if they're clocks, like clocks turning and stuff. I think it's super cool. And what's this video real quick? Oh, that was a bad video where I accidentally recorded for just a moment. Okay, so we get some weapon animations as well. So there we have an uppercut precision, we have a dynamite stick. I believe this is just a normal uppercut or a conversion. Might just be a conversion. And then the Vetterli silencer. Now, one thing that I couldn't help but notice with this skin that somebody posted on Facebook before I could watch was this design here. Obviously, it's kind of like a thicker web looking type of design, but someone was like, I can't wait to get the Spider-Man skin. Now I can't unsee it because it does kind of look like it's Spider-Man themed more than just spider themed. But these skins look sick. I'm happy with the skins. I could care less about the animations personally. I'm never going to run around and use these animations, especially like unless I had a foot pedal to use them. I think I just noticed that. There is a new choke bomb skin. I'm 99% sure that's new. They just don't show it off. So I just realized that. But anyways, obviously plenty of new skins, or sneak peek at some of the skins, and then some new animations. So, new Scarce Weapons. The Homestead 78 is what it was that I was trying to refer to, and which is the long barrel or just extra big version of the Caldwell Rifle 78, which is going to have extra punch and basically bigger range. They referenced that this is going to be similar to having like a double barrel Romero. And then the Wildland, which is a Centennial that has increased damage, a longer barrel, and improved magazine with a swift reload. This thing is going to be absurd. I'm saying it right now. It's going to be literally, it's going to be overpowered. Everybody's going to get it. I don't care how rare it is. Just playing match after match, people are going to get them and be able to stockpile them. Especially if you just run to the nest right away. I don't know what increased damage even means unless they're talking about like damage range, because a longer barrel would help with damage drop off. But the Centennial already does like over 125 or like even over 130. And then obviously you can get Dum Dum on it, so it's like, if we get this, are we able to also go find Dum Dum ammo in the match and equip that to this? Because if so, this thing's going to be insane. But you get an increased or improved magazine. I think I was talking with Hulk the other day. The Centennial already gets like 10 bullets in the chamber, or like in your magazine. So it's like you're going to have, what, 12 or 15, and then you can also swift reload it. So, I don't know. We'll still have to see. Obviously, there's going to be some stuff where, I've said before, I've usually been concerned about like certain things coming to the game, and then it's fine once it actually comes to the game, and it's not as bad as people think. But the Centennial was already a problem, and that's why they made Dum Dum ammo scarce for it. So, we'll have to see. Let's see if there's another video here. Okay, so this is the auto selecting setting. So basically, you can toggle it for weapons, tools, and consumables. And as soon as you pick up, like, let's say you find a dynamite bundle in a tower, or you like take someone's weapons, instead of going into your inventory, it'll just go straight into your hands. So obviously, if you had an empty slot, like I was saying with a watchtower, and you found a consumable like a dynamite bundle or a firebomb or a concertina bomb, it would usually just go into your inventory. Then you have to select it. Now you don't have to worry about going into your inventory to select it. It's just going to pop up in your hands. So that's actually really nice. Here's a picture of the Scarce Weapons as well. So, I mean, they look pretty similar, but they're just a little shinier. Some weapon balancing. So they improved the melee hit detection and maximum reach. I hope this is like very minimal, because I do sometimes have some feelings where I'm like, man, why didn't that hit? But I don't want it to become obnoxious. So, and then the Mako and Cyclone adjustments. So with the Mako, they said they slightly reduced the recoil of the Mako, which is, I mean, I guess fine. They're trying to make it a little bit more streamlined with some of the other long ammo rifles, so that obviously people will pick it more. I think it's just one of those things, though, where most of your long ammo rifles, they all can, like, one tap if someone's been downed already, like they do over 125. But you're basically just making it to... There's a point where you're buffing it so much to bring it up to the Mosin and LaBelle, because those are the still two best long ammo rifles, in my opinion, and what are considered meta. You're basically just reskinning the Mosin and LaBelle to a degree if you just keep making all the other ones like react the same, if that makes sense. But I guess it's cool. Maybe I'll use it more. I'll test it out. And then the Cyclone, at one point they made the reload faster, and now they're making the reload slower again. So the Cyclone is pretty obnoxious as well, especially on PC. But I don't think it'll... sometimes these small changes just don't change the pick race too much, in my opinion, unless they do something super crazy. This was the auto select. So obviously, again, we saw the video clip where you can go over to equipment, and basically it'll go straight into your hands instead of your inventory, so you don't have to select it after you pick it up. Obviously not selected from looting toolboxes, hunters, and beetles. So obviously it's an item that has to be on the ground, not in something essentially, like the beetles are in the sacks, the toolbox, any consumable you get in the toolbox. It's not like out in the world already. But it's going to be on by default when this update launches, so you'll have to turn it off if you don't want it. You can absolutely choose. I do think it'll be nice, like especially for like weapons. I don't know if I'll do it for consumables really, but alrighty. So trait changes. So Blade Seer, you no longer need to have Blade Seer to see projectiles in dark sight. Instead, it's just going to increase the range from 25 to 75 meters. This is something that a lot of people, like especially Hulk in particular, I know has talked about. Like that should just be a thing. Like we should just be able to go into dark sight and see items that we have thrown. And then we have Assailant, which you no longer need to throw in-world tools, because at one point we had for newer players, people might not know, but we had Tomahawk. And Tomahawk was a separate perk that you needed to be able to throw like a shovel or a pickaxe, or not a pickaxe. We should have pickaxes though. A shovel or a pitchfork is what I meant to say, or a world axe or the sledgehammer, obviously for the achievement. You needed to have a perk for that. They basically combined it into Assailant, and now they're taking it away from Assailant, and now you just don't even need a perk to be able to throw an in-world tool, so which is really nice. So you can obviously use it to, it's gonna make it easier so you can actually throw like a sledgehammer at a immolator or something from a distance, or take an axe and throw it at a hive on a roof instead of using your actual throwing knives or something. And then Witness, they removed the corpse healing like ability from Witness, so, and then they reduced it from 5 trade points to 4. So I didn't even realize that Witness gave you like a healing bonus from looting. I guess I just never thought of it, like, or realized it. I never went out of my way to use like I would bring Witness so I could see dead bodies and stuff like that, but I never was like, oh yeah, I have Witness, I can loot to get my health back or whatever. So I don't know about that one. I really never noticed it. Like, even if I was missing health and looted, I guess I just never knew. And there are some loot changes. So custom ammo spawn changes. Now, basically what that means is, at first I thought they were just meaning they were going to change up like where the ammo spawns. But what they were going in depth about was that there's going to be weapons that are related to said special ammo that will spawn near it. So if you find like high velocity ammo, for example, there's probably going to be a chance of some sort of scoped weapon being nearby. Or Dum Dum, they kind of hinted at, you know, maybe something that uses Dum Dum that will be nearby. Or so essentially, like if you find a Centennial, there might be Dum Dum ammo near it, and vice versa. I guess the reason why they're doing that is so that, because obviously if you have the Centennial and you find Dum Dum, you can equip it. But I guess it's for the case of if you find Dum Dum and you want the Centennial Dum Dum, you don't have to like bring it in every time to be able to get said ammo type, if that makes sense. So I guess I kind of get what they're doing there. And obviously if you find slugs, there's going to be a shotgun nearby. I guess to just restrict the chances of finding like slugs, and then next to it being like a Frontier C or something. Rebalance consumable looting. So they essentially kind of reference how obviously they used to be able to get a concertina bomb and other stuff from loot boxes. They changed that years and years and years ago, and I guess now they're gonna bring that back. They said obviously with the experimentation of the saddlebags, you can obviously get shots and bigger explosives or concertina bombs from saddlebags, and now it sounded like they were kind of reintroducing some of those bigger, more rare consumables into regular toolboxes. And this is the one I'm not excited about, that I think is just dumb. I'm just gonna keep it honest, keep it a buck. Beetle spawns now only contain choke beetles. This is stupid. They talked about how they wanted to like give you more, like, it says something about, you know, the offensive beetles. Like they want people to bring in the offensive beetles to be more aggressive in gameplay or whatever. But not a lot of people are just going, like, I'm not going to not take my shots or even just grenades for that matter over beetles. Like unless I'm trying to like meme, because beetles are fairly like strong as long as you can hit people with them, and it can be really annoying. But I think they just simply want the choke beetles themselves to be used more But I don't like when developers in general just make it to where it's like they're trying to force you to use something that just clearly isn't that great. They want people to use these choke beetles more to like help, put out your teammates and yada yada. But if I ever use a choke, I have not. I think I've maybe once or twice, maybe, actually used a choke beetle to actually put out my teammates. It's much quicker to just throw a choke, even if you're like, unless you're really playing that far away. There's no reason to be 80, 50, like 50 to 80 meters away from your teammate to choke them with a beetle. Like, I don't know. I think it's a terrible change. It's just gonna, because also when people are turtling, they obviously, when it came to the loot changes and all that, basically they talked about how people would loot, extra concertina bombs and then like conk themselves in to like stalemate the match. Having fire beetles and regular beetles made it easier to breach players like that. You could use the stalker beetles to blow up windows and doors to create entry points or like more lines of sight into the buildings to try to shoot them. Or obviously if you were able to hit them with a fire beetle, you knew that one of them was weak already, so then you were able to be a little bit more confident with pushing. So I just think this is a terrible change. I'm sure you can still use it to at least figure out where people are, but usually you already know where people are. Moving on though. The powder keg. So the powder keg is going to be a new deployable in-world item only found in missions. So obviously you can only find it when you're in a match. I believe you can find it in like every game mode, but you can basically pick it up, move it, and set it somewhere. But it's going to react like every other barrel. So if any kind of fire touches it, it's going to blow up. If you put like a alert wire to it, it'll act like a portable kind of red barrel, which is kind of what people were doing with the dynamite satchels, or the dark dynamite satchels. Or you can even shoot it with, fire ammo to blow it up. You can do a lot of different stuff with it. And yeah, that's really about it. So they also, one thing to note with the lanterns, they changed, like, so if you turn off a lantern, it still reacts the same if you have fire ammo. So if you have normal ammo or like smash it with, the butt of your gun, it's going to react the same way. But if there's a lantern that's just simply turned off and you shoot it with fire ammo, it's actually going to blow up and burst into flames like it would if it was already lit, which kind of makes sense because the style of lanterns have, some kind of like oil or, gas, whatever it is in there to help them work and operate from back then. So now you can shoot them with fire ammo to then light them up anyway. So now it's really important to just pre-smash the lanterns if you really want them to stay off, I guess. Let's go ahead and go to the next video because I feel like it might be about the barrel. Yep. So this is the powder keg. So you can see him pick it up, and he's running it over to this window here. And you would just deploy it, kind of like if you had like the med kit that you can bring in. I always forget that you can set traps up like this, and it trips me out. And obviously there it blows up. So yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. NPC and AI changes. So they said they're doing a grunt rework, and this is a lot of kind of like under the hood stuff that you're not probably going to notice too much, but they are going to move slower in water now because apparently they never, I guess maybe we're just used to it, but I never noticed that, yeah, they never slowed down in water, but obviously you did, so it made it kind of a pain to get away from stuff in the water. And apparently they improved the movement, the pathfinding, and all that, which is cool, I guess. They did say this all kind of will help them be able to do, they kind of hinted at, new or more fun kind of grunts or AI in the future. They tuned the hunter bots because apparently sometimes they would like just die, I guess, to other AI before they could even get to, players. If you didn't know about hunter bots, it's only available to new players until they reach level 11. So don't worry, your lobbies aren't just filled with bots. So, okay, lobby improvements. I feel like I'm going to sneeze too. Holy moly. I'm trying to fly through this as well. Oh my god. Excuse me. So, lobby improvements. So, they made it to where all the game modes are kind of like in a separate, like you click on the game mode button essentially, and you can change it all from there. Like while you're with your friends in the lobby, you don't have to toggle through a bunch of stuff. And the big thing here though is that you don't have to send separate invites and basically make a new lobby to go into the shooting range, which is so nice, because now you can actually just, if you're waiting on like your third to get on, like me and a lot of times me and Hulk could be on and we're waiting for Mando or Alloy or Jay or Ego or whatever the case is, we can like go in the shooting range and just screw around with some of the new stuff during event, or just fight each other in general and wait till they get on if we don't want to play duos, which is just a really nice option to have. They got rid of the home screen, and now they have a career tab, which is basically just where you'll see all your stats and like match summary and stuff like that. Which I feel like the home screen was super cluttered, because they kind of said it. The home screen had your match summary, your stats, all the weapon stuff, where you could see like hunters, the store. You could then enter the lobby or like the game modes like through there. It was just an insane amount of clutter. But yeah, and then traits are also now embedded into the gear selection. This is so nice, and you can unequip all traits if you want with one button. These two things I think are the most exciting things about the UI improvement. Because dude, like, I don't know, just having to like okay, like I equipped all my weapons, my tools, consumables. Okay, now I have to go to a different screen to equip my traits and my perks, whatever you want to call them. So let's watch the video for that. It's so nice. So you can see here you have your duos and trios, and if you're, you know, you can select if you want to play solo against duo, trios, or whatever, and then this is the game mode select. So now you can just select Soul Survivor, Bounty Clash, Bounty Hunt, or the shooting range, and you can still toggle it that way if you want, like they're showing. But you can do all that and mess with it while you're in a lobby with your friends. So, and then obviously up here you see the career tab. They don't really go into it, but it's really nice to just, like I said, it just feels, especially that feels smaller on the side, so it's less invasive. And I would just rather have this kind of thing anyway. I don't like that they're calling Bounty Clash new, because it's been around for a while now, but that's me just nitpicking stuff. And then, oh, this is another accidental clip, sorry. So here's the trait selection. So now when you go into here, obviously you have everything on the left. So you can just pick your weapons, and you know what, I just realized this because it's been a little bit different. But this feels like how the weapon select used to be, a little bit. Like, I don't know why it looks a tad different for me here. So I was like, again, it's all streamlined. You can select everything, guns, consumables, and all that there. I guess, oh no, this is the same. I don't know why, but for some reason this gives me feelings of how it used to be. But in the here they show that you can remove all your traits, which is nice, because now you can just buy new ones and you don't have to like select every single perk that you have to deselect it. And now you can also invite a random third to your squad. Again, just another crazy big nice improvement that they actually said that it was going to come, I think, in the 2.4 update, and then they just didn't deliver. But now you can actually find a random third instead of just playing solos and getting like 2 random teammates. You can be with one of your teammates, like one of your duo partners or whatever, and if, like, I play almost exclusively trios, so this is going to be really nice. So if we don't want to play duos and it's just me and one other buddy online, we can actually invite a third and still play trios. And yeah, this was it right here. And yeah, community has been requested for a long time. They also said that it was coming at one point and just didn't deliver, but it is what it is. Now we're getting it though, which is extremely nice. So they're actually going backwards on a couple of things, which I'm very happy to hear, because I feel like Hunt just like refuses to want to do stuff like this, because they're like, oh, we put so much time and effort and money into trying to make this thing work or do this, and they just, for some reason, are just, I guess they don't want to like waste it in a sense. But they're walking back on the rarity system, I thought it was dumb. All my friends thought it was stupid. A lot of people just didn't like it. And honestly, the community didn't like it so much that they're changing it back. So if you didn't know, if you're kind of new, we never used to have like green, blue, purple, and then gold, and then the mythic and all that. We just had legendary skins. That was it. For hunters, for equipment, for weapons, we just had legendary skins. That was it. Everything was gold when you like on the backgrounds of it and everything. And now it's like a Christmas tree. You can equip a loadout, and even if it's, they basically just gave us rares and what was it? Yeah, uncommons and commons, and then all that to help determine their price points. I think to just validate why they were asking for X amount of money for a skin. I think that was literally like the sole reason they did it, but they just wanted to. They kind of made it look a different way. But now we just have legendary skins and mythic skins, which I kind of understand that to a degree. But basically, mythic skins are only skins you can get from battle passes that are exclusive that will never come back. So a lot of people want all kinds of stuff to come back from previous events. I don't think that's a great idea personally, just my personal opinion. I know it might ruffle some feathers, but it's just how it is in like a lot of other video games. But either way, now we have just legendary, so everything's going to be gold again, which I like. And then you obviously just have your mythic stuff just to know if it's from an event or not. So and now we have the tarot cards. And I'm going to blow my nose for 1 second here. Oh yeah, sorry, that's gross. Good lordy. My allergies are killing me. So, we can see 12 tarot cards. There's quite a few of them. We'll go over all of them, but you have the Fool, the Magician, the Garden, the Empress, the Chariot, the Hanged Man, the World, Judgment, the Sun, the Moon, the Tower, the Devil. So, I think hopefully this one's a video. Yep. So, this one is obviously the Magician. Wait, actually, they have a lot of photos first of the individual cards that talk about what they do. So yeah, we have the tarot cards, obviously just in general. There's 12 of them, single-use consumables, so they are consumables. They can be found in the world, or you can get them through the Dark Tribute, so they'll just go into your inventory. You can loot them from other hunters, like if they had a tarot card and they died before they could use it, you can actually loot it from them. They're also found in Bile Weaver nests, and also just randomly outside. But there's 3 specifically in the nest, but they say you can also find them like basically near the other kind of, I guess, mini nests, so to speak, in the world. And Bounty Clash, some of them are there, but like not every tarot card is in Bounty Clash. So the first one is the World. So I don't think I don't have a video until the Magician, but so the World is pretty self-explanatory. We used to have the Master Clue during like every event before this, like literally every event. Now we just have a tarot card for it, so you can just use this and even off the rip from a match and just know where all boss targets are. And the Moon, so the Moon is actually going to grant 2 seconds of dark sight boost. So this is very similar. I think you would only get 1 second, but there was the poster that you'd be able to get in the last several events where you can just get, 1 second of dark sight. Now, instead of it being like a card, or maybe that'll still be a thing, like a poster on the wall that you can use that's lockable or something with your pledge marks that you can unlock to get 1 second of dark sight, but you have this to get 2. Also, the art for these are insanely cool because they're in color. Usually a lot of them are like black and white from the past. Obviously, the kind of downside is that you mark yourself on the map because you get the little orange blip on the map for gaining the dark sight. It's a pretty minimal downside. They tried to make it seem like it's a kind of a big deal. They're like, oh, if you use it right away, people know where you spawn. But in general, I don't think it's going to matter too much. Now we have the Garden. So the Garden, obviously, we've seen video clips of in the past, but it's going to fully heal you, remove bleeding, burning, or poison from you and your teammates. So it's basically just like kind of like an insanely buffed, like, Vit shot that just also gets rid of statuses. So that's pretty cool. I think it'll be pretty useful, like, because even if your teammate is like really far away and they get shot, you can use it very quickly.
I'll be late to work.
You're gonna say that in the middle of my video? Yeah, I'm recording. I'm trying to do this really quick. I know I'm running behind, but I'm almost done. You should come down here yelling at me.
Well, I texted you 4 times.
It doesn't. Look at my phone. It doesn't even have notifications. It doesn't show anything. Oh my god! Now you're throwing my phone?
It shows it on there.
Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't show up on the lock screen.
You want like a weird do not disturb one?
I don't think so. I want to finish this up real quick though. I'm almost done. So the fool basically just copies the last tarot card that you used. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. We have the tower, which basically kills monsters and damages targets within a 65-meter radius. And then afterwards, basically the downside is your hunter catches on fire. So when it says damages targets, I've had a couple people actually reach out and ask me what that means. We always call everything bosses, but the bosses, what we call our bosses, they're actually called targets. From like the developers, from their standpoint, there's targets and then wild targets, not bosses and then like wild bosses or however some people put it. So it'll damage basically the bosses or the targets, and then obviously any monsters that are just within the same areas, like meatheads, grunts, hives, whatever it is. And the magician. So the magician places a dark sight decoy at your location, and then afterwards causes heavy bleeding on usage. So this is where we had the video, but basically you can have a decoy where if somebody is in dark sight and using it to scan for you, there will be a fake orange blip essentially. So you'll see here he used it at the boat. Now he's backing up. The second player sees an orange blip, but what he doesn't know is that no one's actually there, and this person is, you know, waiting for him. And this is what the kind of decoy looks like, because it does have a visual thing in person and people can get rid of it. My only problem with this is obviously they show it being used and you're like, oh, it's kind of cool. Every single, I would say, like, just in general, player that has an idea of how to play Hunt Showdown, you never just scan in one area. You're always doing a 360. So how, like, the guy kind of got behind him and it's like, oh, he tricked him and he's actually behind. People are going to always scan and do a 360. That's, I never not do a 360 unless the only time I just scan in front of me and that's it is because I've already done a 360 previously to the fight. So I actually don't think this is going to be that great. Maybe it will be decent if you're already in layer as a solo, so you can pretend to be a duo. I think, again, this will be better for solos, but for team play and like higher MMR, I don't think this is going to be great at all by any means, personally. Then we have the devil, so reduce the sway and spread excluding shotguns for weapons until your hunter is downed, then destroys an additional health chunk. So what this does, basically we had crack shot, which was a perk from the Murder Circus event, and it was kind of insane. It just made dualies insane, it made feigning insane. This is basically doing the same thing, except it'll also work for even like the Avdo, as far as I'm aware. Which, I mean, it worked for stuff like that before too, but with crack shot. But with crack shot, they, like, I remember Psychos did a video with like the Maynard sniper. The hip fire was insanely tight where you didn't even have to aim anymore. This could be really annoying. The only nice thing is that the downside is that, you know, it destroys a, basically if you go down, you're losing 2 health chunks instead of 1. It's, as long as you get the jump on someone that's using this, I guess it's fine. But if you have like a whole team running this, it might be kind of ridiculous. Like, it doesn't matter if you lose a health chunk as long as you're able to wipe out the other team. You know what I mean? So we'll just have to see how it goes. I don't think there's a video for that one. No, the next one would be for the Hanged Man. So the Hanged Man allows you to spectate the nearest enemy hunter for a limited amount of time. I think they said it's like 15 seconds. And as we can see, we are spectating somebody. I don't know exactly what that blip is there. But yeah. And after you spectate them, they said that there's basically going to be a little bit of kind of like a dinging noise or some kind of audible just chime that happens after they get spectated. So they will get alerted that you know, were watching them. But, oh, we had one before that. But anyways, to keep talking about the Hanged Man. So you'll have that audible, sound. And then it's going to spectate the nearest hunter, I'm pretty sure is what they said in some other notes from that they released a couple days ago. So it'll be the closest hunter to you, and then, you spectate them. So we have the Sun, which is another tarot card, grants an increased regeneration buff for 60 seconds. This is one that not a lot of people were able to figure out what it was because we kind of got it leaked to us like a week ago or so. But it's going to be similar to like Mariner. So if you remember from like Tide of Desolations or something like that, it was in the Tide trilogy. If you were in deep water or heavy rain, there was a perk that gave you an increased, like a significant increased regeneration buff. So you could increase or regenerate health insanely quickly. It's essentially going to do that for a minute. So it's going to regenerate way faster, even if you have a regen shot, basically. Okay, there was actually a couple before the video. Anyways, Judgment. I think this one's going to be kind of cool, but it reduces your health to 1, but all your buffs are doubled. So like your stamina shot, regen shot, what is it? Poison shot, stamina, and like regen. So if you have like 5 minutes left or like 3 minutes left on all those for like the timers, in the bottom left corner of your screen, they'll double up to 6 minutes or whatever. So I'm kind of rushing here because I do got to get to work. But yeah, so I think this actually be cool because you can just pop your regen. If you have a regen shot, you can just pop your regen and your stam. Go ahead and hit this, and then after a few seconds, you'll be back to full. Obviously, the Hanged Man is the video we went over. Allows you to spectate the nearest enemy hunter for a limited time, and then the enemy hunter is, warned afterwards after you spectate them. And then we have the Empress. So the Empress grants Catalyst, Necromancer, and 1 random burn or Scarce trait. So you get 3 traits from using this card. They said this is going to be the rarest card. Catalyst is obviously where you can, if you have Beast Face, you don't alarm dog kennels and such like that. And so I'm assuming we're going to get the same Catalyst buffed perks from last event to this event. You can get Necro, so technically, if you're a solo and you use Necro, you get up, you can use this and get Necro again. So it might be some interesting stuff to mess around with. And then obviously you get a random burn or Scarce trait, you get Death Cheat or Rampage or any of those other things. Then we have the Chariot. So it swaps locked and unlocked extraction points for all teams, only in Bounty Hunt. So obviously it's not going to work in any of the game modes. Destroys 1 health chunk, and then a 5-minute cooldown. Now, what do you mean locked and unlocked, extractions? What does that mean? So what it is there's actually a whole new mechanic where there's going to be 4 extractions on the map for Bounty Hunt now. I don't know if this is going to be a permanent change, but there's going to be 3 on the outside and then 1 in the middle. So what it is when you hit this card, so apparently they said the middle extraction and one of the outer extractions will be locked from the beginning of the match, basically, but this card will swap them. So one of the other random extractions on the outer edge will get locked instead of the one that's obviously previously locked, and then the inner extraction on the middle of the map will unlock. So the 5-minute cooldown is to basically prevent people from like spamming this. So you actually have like a window, like basically you could use it yourself. Like let's say you were at Machine Gorge and let's say this was locked already, you could use the card and now you're guaranteed that this is unlocked so that you can escape and you know that nobody else can then therefore like lock it, basically. And then it's vice versa. Let's say somebody uses it early or like you're going to run to a different extract. As you're running to that other extract, you can go ahead, that's locked, you can go and pop it while you're running to then go to that one. So, or obviously if people are on the extract, like you saw in the video, people will be able to use it to stop you from extracting. So there's going to be a lot of cool different plays that you can probably make with this. So you can stop people from leaving if they don't have it and they're not prepared for it. You can go to a locked extract and pop it to leave at one that people don't think you're going to go to. So especially when it comes to like extraction campers, people might preemptively be sitting at one of the open extracts. Now you can just pop in and go to one of the locked ones. So I think this would be really cool, actually. But yeah, so I know I kind of look like a bum, but that's everything in the dev live stream if you missed it. And I tried to go through it very quickly, so I don't want to... I kind of gave my opinions on it a bit, but I don't want to rant too much. But yeah, if you liked the video, please like, subscribe, share this with a friend. I appreciate all the support over here. I got to run to work. And most importantly, stay safe in the Bayou.